Today, I'm going to be testing the easiest carbonization technique. I am using a variation of the technique from Robert Murray Smith in his carrot carbonization video. I'll put a link in the description. In that video, he used a microwave for 4 minutes at 50% power. I didn't catch that at first. With zinc chloride as a microwave susceptor. In other words, something that would gather and concentrate the heat energy from the microwaves. I would rather not use a zinc chloride because of the need for gloves and precaution with the children, so I want to try to do it with a sodium chloride. So that's the technique that I am trying to make work. When he did it, he used a 1-to-1 mixture between the item to be carbonized and the zinc chloride. He said that the paper he got the idea from referenced a 1-to-1 mixture and a 10-to-1 mixture with a lot of zinc chloride. So today I'm going to be using a 3-to-1 sodium chloride to the active ingredient that I'm trying to carbonize. I think that might work because I'm expecting that even if sodium chloride is not quite as good of a microwave susceptor, it may be good enough in that concentration. It also will help to separate out the little particles of the powder that I'm trying to carbonize. I'm going to be testing 3 different formulations today. The first one is a carrot, just like Robert Murray Smith. I grated a carrot, I dried it slowly in the oven, and then I put it in a coffee grinder and made a powder out of it. I'm going to be using 5 grams of that powder, and then to that I will be adding 15 grams of normal table salt, sodium chloride. The next mixture I'm going to be doing is using normal table sugar combined with the table salt. Again, in a 5 grams of sugar to a 15 grams of salt mixture. The final one is I'm going to be trying a mixture of the carrot powder with a little bit of sugar. And so I'll be using 4 grams of the carrot powder, adding 1 gram of the sugar, and adding 15 grams of the salt. So in all cases it'll be 5 and 15, but the mixture that I'm trying to carbonize will be different. The reason I'm doing that with the sugar is because sugar tends to expand into some lovely formulations that seem to have a lot of surface area, and surface area is what we want when it comes to our energy storage devices. So I'll show you how I mix it up with the first one. I'm not going to extend the video by doing it with all 3, and then we'll proceed. So for this first one, let's start by mixing out 15 grams of the salt. It would help if I turned it on first. Okay, so we're going to start by measuring out 15 grams of the salt mixture, or salt, just pure salt. Okay, make sure that the scale is happy. And I'm going to measure out 15 grams. We're not dealing with very large amounts here. Let's see, whoops. Okay, that's a little too much. Take a bit off. 15.9. 15.00. So I have that. I'm going to put it in this mortar and pestle. Now I'm going to add 5 grams of the fine powder. Okay, on the scale, good. One and a half. 3 grams. 4.5, 4.96. How picky do I want to get? 4.96, 5.00. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put this in the mortar and pestle. And so now I have just the two items in here. And I'm going to mix them in the mortar and pestle. The better you mix them, the better everything will turn out. And a really good mix, so there's not sections that are only salt or only carrot powder. By the way, I really like this mortar and pestle, my stainless steel, when I got it from a surplus website called SciPlus, SciPlus.com. Recommend that site. It's a very nice one for getting inexpensive deals on certain items. Got to be careful. Sometimes they're not great deals, but usually they're very good deals. Starting to look better. Okay, that's looking pretty mixed up to me. Good. Now, I'm going to take this larger high temperature glass bowl, put a little piece of silicone rubber in the bottom of it, take the smaller bowl, and that's going to go in the middle. But first I want to put my ground up powder into it. Put that into it, and then I put the little bowl in the center. Then I'm going to cover it, both top and bottom, with a ceramic tile and put that in the microwave at 50% power for 4 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to go on ahead and do the other two, and I will get back to you after I've put all three through the microwave. Okay, so now I've cooked my samples. As you've seen the preview image, you know a little bit about what's coming here. I sure didn't. This is the first sample. This was carrot powder with 5 grams of carrot powder with 15 grams of salt. Cooked. I first started at 4 minutes at half power, and that didn't do anything. It got the powder maybe just a little bit warm. I'm thinking that the layers of glass, and then I had tile on top and bottom. I'm thinking that got in the way of the microwave energy. So this is cooked for 6 minutes at full power, and I need to dial in the power and the cooking. It's formed a bit of a crusty surface. I believe that the white you're seeing is the salt, and the dark is the carrot powder. So it's a little bit crusty. The second sample is this. This is the sugar. I'm going to play with this a little bit, see if we can get a little better view. The sugar is a really interesting element. It gives you a crusty, this is almost a hard crust, but it's kind of a crumbly thing. It gives you a lot of surface area when you look at it. So that's going to be an interesting thing to try. And then I wanted to try, I knew that the sugar would give extra surface area. This was also 6 minutes at full power. I wanted to give extra surface area. And so what I did is I did the third one. Now this third one, the disaster as it were, has the issue of the glass breaking. Now the glass broke. I believe it was because it had the heat from the first two. I was doing them one right after the other. I wasn't changing out the bottom ceramic, so the glass broke. I do have a sample here in the middle, and I think I'm going to be able to still use most of it. I'm going to be trying some other methods because I really do want to be able to do one sample right after another. I don't want to have a delay there, but I sure as heck also want to be able to not have anything break. So we're going to have to see how that is. My next step is to take these samples and put them through a coffee filter with some distilled water. Preferably deionized water, but distilled water is very close to that. So I've had an issue with how do I get the hold the coffee filter. And what I found is I found these little tubs, extremely cheap. They're disposable tubs. And so then I cut a hole around the top and around the bottom. And it turns out that those tubs work really well with these standard plastic glasses. And so now I have the tub, and I was able to you open up the tub, and you put the coffee filter so it's just a little bit over each lip. And then you're able to toss it back on, and you get this. It's a really nice unit. It ends up being that you have the coffee filter encased in this tub, but it has a hole to come out, and then that can fit right on top of the glass. So I'm going to be able to take the sample and put it right in the area, in with the coffee filter. Okay, so there's one sample. I'm going to do the same with the sugar. Whoops, whoa. That goes everywhere because it is a beast. There we go. So I've got the sugar. At this stage of experimentation, I'm not so worried about getting every grain and doing a lot of weighing and measuring. I will be later on, but at this stage, it's like it's not that important. Now, even now, I should be wearing gloves because this stuff, it just gets really dirty on your hands, but I'm lazy. And then I'm going to take this one, put that in the third one, and I'm just going to forget about the parts that are messed up with the glass and see if I can get some big pieces of that. There we go. So now I have the 3 samples, and I'm going to go grab some distilled water. I got this neat little rinse bottle from sciplus.com, SCIPLUS.com. So now I'm going to rinse out this first sample. The water all in there. And what's supposed to happen is the salt dissolves, but the carbon does not. And so we should be able to start seeing that happen a bit. Then indeed the white specks are dissolving, and they'll just drip down into the cup, and the black will be left. Okay. I'm mix this up a bit. You've got to be careful, you don't want to poke the coffee filter. I'm just going to mix that up a bit. So that's dripping, and I can even hear it start hearing it drip. Rinse the sides off a bit, make sure that everything's got some water there. Okay, so I'm going to do that for the 3 samples and then dry it out, and that will be my next update. The big learning thing from this update is, of course, the broken mess that was the inside bowl. I think I'm going to modify my technique a little bit and then dial that in. What I think I'm going to be going to is, instead of using a bowl within a bowl, I think I'm going to be using a ceramic mug and covering that with a clay pot. I've seen people actually make kilns out of the clay pot, so it should have no problem in sustaining the temperatures. The big thing is to realize, that I've realized, is these are hot. Very, very, very hot. And that you need to let the microwave cool down a bit in between runs on the inside of the microwave, so that it has the same starting point in each one. So I hope this is helpful. This is just having you come alongside me as I go through my journey of learning. And hopefully we can all learn together and end up with something better for all of us. Thanks a lot.